Joining me now is Tania Mather from Thrive Wellness Journeys. Tania is an enchanting person. What she does is enchanting, and she's going to even, it looks like enchanters playing the magic bells. It's lovely to see you again, Tania.
It's lovely to see you, and thank you for having me here today.
My pleasure. It's like the universe puts us together.
Yeah.
I bumped into you at several places, and I haven't seen you for ages, and then suddenly you're here and there, and it's like, okay, we need to get together.
Yeah.
We need to get together.
The universe has a beautiful way of working, doesn't it?
They're beautiful. We were on Selena Mackenzie's show the other day, talking about the me nobody sees.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, particularly in a city that's glitzy like Marbella, it's noticeable, the front. You know, everybody's happy, everything's great, all the social media, but everybody has a story behind the scenes, it would seem.
Yeah.
And that's how you're making your future. You've developed everything since I've met you more and more. To just taking people and just saying like, hey, take a break, let's take a look. Explain to our viewers your philosophy, because it's beautiful. It's ethereal, actually. It's just...
Thank you so much. Thanks. I think what happens is that the way I see things, and it's interesting because after the interview, I came back and I thought about it, and it was like, we've spent a lot of time, there's a lot of culture around our body, right? Getting our body fixed and getting it into shape and getting our muscles toned and looking, whatever, muscle. The interview we talked about was a lot about mental wellness. There's a lot of mental health at the moment. It's like, what's going on? How do we think? What's going on in our brain?
I piped in and said, I'd rather than mental illness, we called it emotional distress, because I really don't identify with mental illness. And I think so many people hear that and it's like, oh, that's not me.
Yeah.
But a lot of us have emotional distress because we're overwhelmed or situations arrive. We've had the COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs and the repercussions. So just had to add that in.
Well, the thing is that when we look at this, we look at mindset. And I think it's more of a mindset when we focus on the mind and we look at the mind and how are we thinking, what are our thoughts? And we cannot hope to exist without connecting with our emotions. So our mind and our emotions in the heart place. So that brings me into the place where we're looking at how our mind is, we're looking at mental health, which is really, we need to look at the body in the whole perspective. And that's what I do. I look at in a very holistic way. So we look at the body, we look at how it is, how we nurture our body. Okay, so it's not only just being in the gym, it's how our mind is, how our emotions are, but also our spirit. Our spiritual connection. It's connecting to something that is much greater than ourselves, because a lot of us are living in Newtonian way, which is just here, this is, the reaction, but we're really living now in a quantum field. So, how sometimes we bump into people and we're living in that way, and everybody's experienced this, but we take it down and we put it as coincidence. So it's like, oh, I was thinking about you and then suddenly you called. It's actually much more fascinating, and we tap into that power that we have. As co-creators, we can create a life that we want to live.
I think that is the essence, the co-creator. We normally react. We have actions which are reactions. And it was only when I started taking quiet time, meditation, because we're so busy in the kids and the life and this, and you ask questions of, oh, but you're never quiet enough to hear the answers, and the answers come. And I think this is the first step, is realizing that we all need quiet time.
Absolutely.
To feel, to connect the physical and the actions with actually the feelings. But I think a lot of people have gut feelings but take no notice of it, don't realize.
We ignore it. We ignore
that
the signs.
That's telling you something.
Yeah. I like to look at it as when we're in a car and if the red light comes on because we need to fill up with petrol, we listen to that, right? We take it to the garage or we take it to fill it up. But when our body indicates those indications to us, we just ignore them. We don't listen to them. I work a lot in water, so I love to look at this when you talk about slowing down. Because when water is murky, when we're so busy and there's mud, there's particles, we cannot clearly see things. So that downtime, what it is allowing our emotional waters, our physical waters, all of those waters just to settle. And when we do take that time to quieten down, to slow down, and then we open and we create that space and the time where we allow something to come to us. And that's working from when we're looking at energetics, we've been living in a world where it's mainly a masculine, and that doesn't mean men. It means a masculine energy, which means action, to-do list, getting things done, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's we're not in balance. So we need to bring in the feminine. The feminine, what is the feminine? The feminine is this. The feminine is creating that space where we allow that to come to us. And we live in that way because what happens is that we are energetic beings. Everything is based on energy. Excuse me. So the energy, when we have our own personal energy, when we look at our personal energy, if we are vibrating of the energy of hate, fear, regret, shame, and all those are very low vibrational fields. There's a map of consciousness. When we start getting out of that, and we start moving more into neutrality, into gratitude, into grace, into appreciation, into love and harmony, that's when we start vibrating. So I just want to, just so that I'm a very visual person, and the mind works a lot. So this is a toy, okay, and it's a sphere which I actually use it. It does. Well, you actually use it so that I dance with them. All right, so they're a lot of fun, and I do a lot of dancing. But I bring this out because got stuck in my ring. So I bring this out because this is our energy. Our energy is like this. When we look at our body, we have this toroidal field around us, okay? So if my vibration is vibrating fear, hate, all of those lower vibrations, this is what I'm going to attract. So there's the other one. So why am I attracting that? It's like, I keep on attracting that relationship, or I keep on attracting those things. Why is this always happening to me? It's because our vibration is, we're vibrating. That's where our thoughts are. That's where our attention is. That's where everything. So when we start elevating our it has to start from within. We start elevating our energy, and when we elevate our energy, we'll attract an energy that is more elevated. I think that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. And the fact that we are majority water, having seen so many things that show that when our energies are low and what our water is doing to our body, and yet when we're happier and when we're joyful, everything changes. So it's very important. And I don't think people realize, again, until you get those quiet moments, that we are creators. That every morning we can get up and just take command of the day with intention. But if we just let it be to see what happens and go with the flow, we need to more like create the course of the channel.
Exactly. I love that you say intention. Intention is everything. So when I'm doing a massage and I'm with the bowls that I use, because we just had the interview with Jens, which was really interesting about music, and it's the sound, it's the vibration, and how our waters can change its shape. Our waters can change the vibration through it. And so when we have that intention of saying, I'm going to wake up this morning and great things are going to happen to me. It's really important when we have the thought, we need to have that corresponding feeling, and it brings us into the heart. We need to come down into our heart space, because love is, yes, we look at love outside of us. I've spent my whole life, Nicole, looking for love outside, because it wasn't given to me. And until
no one explained it to us.
No one explained it.
On purpose, because it gives you such power when you have self-love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now it's what it is cultivating that love, and it's a frequency. When I started seeing love as a frequency and not just something that's romantic, that's on Valentine's Day. No, it's an everyday experience. When we're a frequency of love, when you're vibrating in that love, magic happens in your life. And, it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you tap into that.
And I have to say that with the feeling aspect, that I've realized and known for a long time, intention and the rest, but when I actually grasp that you'd have to grab the feeling of what that will feel like now, it really raises the vibe.
Exactly.
As does hearing, and it's curious because there are certain vibrations for certain indications.
Yeah.
But when I hear like the bowls, that it just helps you just get into that space. So before we finish, can you just give us a little demonstration?
So these are beautiful Tibetan bowls. I'm not exactly sure what the metal is. And what I do is I do massage and I use these bowls, so I put them on the people's body. And I actually do it when I'm feeling out of sync. I put it on my own chest and I just give it.
So that vibration just goes
it shifts
through
it
you.
completely. And knowing that we are 70% water, when I work in water and I take, it's a quartz crystal bowl, and I take that into water because it floats better, and I just think that I don't want to put this into water. But when you put water in here and you see how it vibrates, it's fascinating. So this is what it sounds like. And it goes on. So when I'm giving a massage, I wait until it stops, until there's that silence. Because part of sound, there's also silence. I think something that we forget about when there is music and there's sound, there is actually bringing in that moment of silence where that vibration just comes to a point where it stops, and then I allow that space and time where there's nothing.
It's funny because we've got so much noise going on in the background. However, you can take your moment of silence wherever you are,
Yes.
even if you're in a busy street. But there's another option. Tell us quickly before we finish, because I can't believe how the time's flown by,
Yes.
about your Thrive Wellness journeys.
So I've created Thrive Wellness Journeys after 2020. I used to work in travel. So I've kind of combined my passion for wellness, and I got into wellness because of my own stress. So I was actually a doctor in the beginning of the years when they told me, I need to either change professions or deal with my own stress. So I started dealing with my own stress, and that's how I've come to the journey of all these things. So what I do is I offer different experiences. So I do forest bathing. I offer experiences going to the spas and doing what is called I Chi. I offer a warm water massage. And also my home, I've created a place now where I'm starting, my daughter leaves for university now, and I'm going to be...
Know how that feels?
Yeah, I know.
Thank heavens for Zoom and video
Yeah.
chats.
So I'm creating my home into a place where I'm going to offer one-on-one retreats. And so people can come and stay, recharge. It's like, it's one-on-one. So
Safe space.
A very
A
safe
safe space to just come back into
Yeah.
yourself kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So when people come to my place for a massage, I've got a lovely room, and then
Whereabouts are you based?
just up here in Nueva Andalucía.
Well, there you go. Local lassie. Tania, thank you so much for joining me. I love seeing, and as I said, we keep on bumping into each other. It's synchronicity.
It's
it was
a
just what it
joy.
was meant to be.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'll definitely be coming for one of your little
Yes.
journeys.
Oh, come and get a massage.
Exactly.
Come and
Just have a little
experience
bit
it.
of
You've got to
quiet
experience
time.
it, exactly.
Because really, I'm a very hyper person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nice to have some quiet time to just...
Well, what it is, it's like your energy. So we charge our phones, right? Any gadget, we need to charge them. And that's basically like charging our energy. So it's that downtime where our parasympathetic system, nervous
I
system
can't tell you
gets
how
in.
calm I feel right now. Like, thank you for joining us. But don't go away, because we will be back in just a minute with Catherine Stevenson and
Thank you.
her lovely luxury cars and something else. She's got something else to share. We're excited to know about that. Tania, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Not a
Thank
threat,
you,
but I will
thank
be
you.
seeing you again soon.
Yes, we will. We'll definitely be seeing you.
Okay, as I said, don't go away. Back in just a moment.